Hi viewers, back in the greenhouse today. Lovely sunny day again to do something different. A few people been doing care collaboration videos, and I was asked if I would do one for the Neofinetia Falcata, the Amani Island type, and I said yes I would. So here we are, and I have got, as you know, a large collection of various types of Neofinetia. Probably something in the region of 150, I think. But we're talking where it all started. And in front of you are 4 plants, all are Neofinetia Falcata, the Amani type, with no messing about, if you like. And I mean, this is known as the Japanese wind orchid. Doesn't like high light levels. The reason there's 4 different ones is because various things happened. I'll start with this one because you'll stand up. This one is a Neofinetia Falcata cross with a sibling, and I bought it in April 2016 from Chantel Orchids at the RHS London Orchid Show. At the time, it had 2 fans on. Now that's nearly 7 years ago. It has still got 2 fans on. It has been repotted numerous times. It is kept with all of my others. And this is poor. And now we've got from last year, we're losing. This growth is going to go. In fact, the whole thing is going to go. I'm going to ditch it because I've tried every which way but how to get this to grow. And as you can see, even the plant doesn't want to be with its partner. It's trying to grow in a different direction. So it's never even so much as put up a new growth. But in there, we have this new growth that it did put up. So this one has now in 7 years, it should put up a minimum of at least 1 a year. And the size of these fans, it should have put up more. But this last year put up a baby fan, and it's still a baby fan on this piece. This piece, whatever I do, is going to die, and it's going to be cut off and ditched. What I'll probably do, because they will be being repotted soon, is I won't ditch it all, because I can't. I'll cut that bit off and get rid, and then I'll plant this up in a smaller pot, one on its own, and see where we go from there. But what you need to bear in mind with these is that all of these have had the same treatment. Nothing gets anything any different. But yeah, they like air movement all the time. They like they like a constant humidity, and their constant humidity should be kept above 40% at all times, but really it should be higher than that. What are we doing today in here? What have we got? Because it's sun's come out and the sun's on the roof and there's no shading. We're operating at 69% humidity, but the temperature is 20 degrees today. But this sensor is saying that the humidity is 49%. So I don't believe that. If I would, I'd look at my Natatmo on the phone, but I'm recording on my phone, and then I could see what the humidity was. But suffice it to say, it likes humidity, and in the summer, the fogger is on and set at 60% all of the time, and the reservoir is just constantly filled up, and it comes on as and when. And they don't like, well, they do, they like, I do dunk them, every single one separately in the summer. In the winter, all they get is a spritz of water. If you can hear that now, pick that up on the, that is crunchy dry. There are no root tips because the plants are all dormant. But it gets a spray every so often. These two were a plant that came as one, and I split them and put them in separate pots. And ever since then, they've all grown in different directions. So very untidy. Again, they'll get pulled out of these next month, and everything pulled off, and they'll get put back together. They do flower, they just don't do very well, those ones. But here's the difference. It doesn't matter what you do. You can do the best thing for them, and they will, some of them will just not grow. The plants can take a wide range of temperatures. I know somebody who lets them go down to 0 degrees in the winter. Sometimes it's gone down to a minus figure because they're kept bone dry. They don't matter. The only thing that happens to those is they don't flower early. They flower later in the season because it takes them longer to get going. They only bloom once a year, so the only thing you've got is foliage. If you're moss mounding, it should be redone every spring. Some of these grow on deciduous trees, and yet they don't like the sun. The leaves tend to go black. But here, this one, he's kept in the same place as these. They line up 3 together. And this little boy is happy as a pig in muck. These two are a pain in the neck. So what I'm saying is, don't mollycoddle them. They're tough. They are tough. The varieties are all different, and they're prized in, they're highly prized in Japan. They're only grown for their foliage. If it's a flower, if it flowers, it's a bonus. And they will grow in bark, medium-sized bark. You can grow them in charcoal. You can grow them mounted. You can grow them moss mounds. I tend to do moss mounds. I don't, the showy ones I do proper moss mounds. These ones not so, because they just thicken up and thicken up and thicken up. This one is really becoming bush-like, and I'm loath to disturb it. And what you should do is train the leaves and the roots. That's what they do in Japan. They put special sticks in so that they all stand up and they don't look unruly like this, because that's unruly. But it's a happy unruly. So every single leaf is happy. It's not dropping leaves like this one. Had all the same treatment. He's lost a bottom leaf down there, but all of these down here are coming on nicely. And they flowered last year, 1 or 2 spikes. This one should have a lot more spikes this year, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. I don't know. But you can grow them in the home. People do, but they don't like the artificial light. They don't like the artificial humidity very much. They like humid conditions, but they like the right humid conditions. They do suffer if they don't have air movement. But it's how you look after them, and how you. I'm not perfect. I don't always look after them properly. I do things wrong and things go wrong. But my point is, you've got all these doing different things and they are the same type. Just because they've got a fancy name and fancy stripes on them, they're no different. The care is no different. You've just got a more imposing plant, I suppose. And I've got some plants still that I had one growth on when I bought them, and several years on, they've still got one growth. So long as you don't keep them in sun, highlight areas, they need light, but they don't need too much light because the leaves will turn black. And if they really scorch, they'll go brown. But they like to be moist in the summer. They like to be dried to the point where the moss is not springy, but you can press it and the moss will indent. Whereas if you press this, all you can hear is scrunchy moss. There's no activity going on there whatsoever. And the drier they're kept in the winter, the better they are, because rock cannot set in. I did it so wrong to start with. But then, again, you can only do it by what the plant is telling you. These plants are wishy-washy. Flimsy is what they are. And they've never grown any substance to them since I split the main plant up. It was a lovely bushy plant, all closely packed together. And then it became a straggly plant when I split them up. But what I should do this year is put the canes in them to support them and keep them growing in one direction. So it'll look aesthetically better. Does it matter? No. But that is what I should do. So, I mean, they come from Korea, Japan and China. They like clean water, they like rainwater, they like RO water. And the plants should be left to dry. The faster they alternate between wet and dry, the better. And I think last winter was the first winter I let them go down to this crunchy, crispy, dry. And I had the best flowerings that I'd had in years. But then I had the slugs to combat last year. I'm going to be one ahead of them this year. I don't feed too much. I use this to feed them in the summer. They don't get any food in the winter because they're not getting watered. Oh, stand up, please. Thank you. And it's SB Plant Invigorator. I mix up the solution because it was also a pesticide and a mildewcide, as well as becoming a small level feed. And it's a plant wash as well. Suitable for use throughout the year. I don't use it in the winter, but I buy it for the Neos specifically. I don't give them any other fertiliser apart from that. What people are doing now, as well as growing them in lava rock, you can grow them in rock wool if you want, but what people are trying now in America is coconut fibre. So if your mums used to knit when you were younger, and you remember the skeins of wool that they used to have you hold while you wound it to knit with, my mum did, and they're using the coconut fibre and to do a mound the same as these moss mounds, because we're not going to be able to, well, I don't think we're going to be able to get off, I say not, I don't think we're going to be able to get hold of moss this year. It's like gold dust, and I use quite a lot on these. I have a fair stack of it, but it's not going to last me forever. And last year I acquired some coconut fibre, the strings of it, and we're using them to do the mounds of the Neos with. So I'm going to try some of those this year. I'm also going to try some lava rock ones, possibly with lava rock and some rock wool. Don't know yet, haven't decided. But they are beautiful plants, and the fragrance from them is astounding. You can get yellow ones, you can get green ones, you can get pink ones, you can get red and yellow ones. They do an amazing variety now, so it is getting hold of them going to be the problem now here in the UK. I hope it's been interesting. There isn't anything, it's probably the wrong time of year to do this sort of video for these beauties, but they're still nice to look at, whatever time of year. You've still got lovely lush green leaves. It's a bit wobbly, this one. You can see why it's top heavy, because all of it's gone down there. And it's whole leaning that way. So I've now, when I got it, got to put it back up there. But I like them doing their own thing. So on that note, I'll leave you. And I hope it was informative. I hope it's useful to you. So take care and catch you on the next one. Bye-bye now.